The final count is taking place. Socrates has already been found guilty by 281 to 220 votes. He now awaits the sentence of the court. At this very moment he is recounting to himself what he has already explained in detail to the Athenians assembled here today, how his close friend Chaerephon went to the oracle of Apollo at Delphi, and how the god answered his question, "Is there anyone wiser than Socrates?" The priestess replied, "There is no one." Socrates recalls how he had been unable at first to comprehend the god's meaning, for he knew that he was not the least bit wise, and yet he knew also that the god could not lie. It was thus that he set about seeking the god's true meaning. He did so by questioning one by one a considerable number of his fellow citizens, who were reputed to possess great wisdom. In each case, Socrates was able to show not only that such a man possessed no true wisdom, but that he was less wise even than those ordinary citizens with no reputation whatsoever for wisdom. All of this aroused great indignation on the part of those questioned in such a fashion, as well as among bystanders who observed the proceedings. Nonetheless, Socrates was able to draw a conclusion after many such encounters with politicians, poets, and artisans. They, like he, really knew nothing worth knowing, but unlike him, they thought they knew something worthwhile. Socrates at least knew that he possessed no knowledge of value at all, and it was this recognition alone which made him wiser than others. This, he concluded, was the god's meaning, and thus he was able to divine the task the god had set before him, to go about the polis as a sort of gadfly, stinging his fellow citizens into shame for caring about wealth and prestige, while ignoring truth, wisdom, and the culturing of their soul. Socrates' present ruminations are interrupted by the arrival of the court's decision. He is sentenced to die. In the face of death, he takes one last opportunity to speak, not in order to save himself, but in order to enlighten those who have condemned him. Let me begin by saying to those of you who have voted for my death that it is a pity you did not wait a little time, for, as you can plainly see, I am already an old man, quite close to my natural end. You would have gained somewhat by showing a bit of patience in this matter, for as surely as I stand here condemned by you to die, you will stand condemned by those who will now see the Athenian state as the instrument that put to death a wise man, Socrates. I tell you it matters little that I am not really wise, for they will say this in any case. But let me ask you a couple of questions before I go, for you all know how I love to seek answers. First, why have I been convicted here today, and furthermore sentenced to death by a greater majority than that which found me guilty? Perhaps you think, or would like to think, that it is because I lack the persuasive power of arguments that might have convinced you to acquit me. No, this is not the reason. What I lacked today was the kind of disgraceful impudence which might have impelled me, as it has so many others in previous trials, to beg you for my life, to weep and wail, or to say things which I knew you wanted to hear, merely so as to escape punishment, or even to bring forward my family so as to garner your sympathy. But no, I would prefer to die having spoken as I always do, than to live by speaking as you would wish me to. Life, after all, is not worth the sacrifice of one's soul. But let me ask you something else, namely, whether there is anything harder to escape than death. Perhaps you think there is no such thing. After all, death is inevitable for everyone but the gods. Yet there is indeed something much harder to escape than one's mortality. I speak of the unrighteousness, the evil, that runs more swiftly even than death. Old as I am, I have naturally been overtaken by death's swiftness, but you, my accusers and condemners, though both cunning and quick, are already overtaken by wickedness. Thus I shall depart under penalty of death, while you leave this place today condemned by the truth to evil-doing and injustice. Now, my judges, know this to be a truth most singular. Neither in life nor in death is it possible for evil to befall a good person. Such a one will not be neglected by the gods, nor has today's verdict been an accident of chance. I can see that for me to die at this point is a good thing, and that is why my daimon, my guide, never sought to lead me away from the course I have taken here. That is why I feel no anger toward my accusers or my condemners, for they have not, nor could they have done me any harm. I do, however, blame them insofar as they did most surely set out to do me injury, though without just cause. In view of all this, I have a final request of you, accusers and condemners alike. When my own sons have grown up, I ask that you punish them, and trouble them in the manner I have troubled you, if they appear to care for riches more than for the areti, the excellence that should be the proper goal of all men. If they pretend to be something when they are really nothing, then reprove them for not caring about what is really important. In doing this, you will make certain that my sons receive the justice they deserve. That is all I ask of you, with the last words you shall hear me speak. I see now that the time has arrived at which we shall leave this place. Hence, farewell to all. I go to die, you to live. Which of these is the better, neither you nor I can tell. The God alone knows.